Good morning and welcome to PuckTime on WagerTalk TV. We have the Avalanche and Dallas Stars on the main stage, the spotlight today, the only game in the NHL. My name is Andrew. I have Buster with me to break down this game. Colorado finds himself in a very tough spot. They'll try and dig out of it starting tonight, but they'll need their star players to show up, Buster, and they did not look great in the last game. Dallas was the deeper team, the better goaltending. Overall, now they're going back to Dallas. What are your thoughts here? I'm seeing minus 150 for the Dallas Stars.
Yeah, that was really tough for Colorado last game. During the day, you hear about Taves going down for an illness, and then Nichushkin is done for the year. I mean, that was the biggest game for Colorado. Well, obviously tonight they're going to do it and die, but that was one of the biggest games, and it was obviously devastating to that club. They were outshot 18-3 or 16-3 the first period. And I mean, not only do they lose, like I say, they lost their second best defenseman, and Nichushkin, he had 9 goals in the playoffs already for them. And then you see the result when something like that happens. It's just they just couldn't get it together. It was something. And sometimes, you know what, Andrew, and you got to remember, these guys are all top-notch athletes. But you know what? They're all human beings too. And it must have been just really devastating. Like, I'll use the word again, for those guys to watch their fellow teammate, go through this whole thing that he's gone through. And he has obviously some personal issues. And guess what? All of a sudden, you just saw the game means nothing when there's, personal bonds and team guys like that. So you saw that. I'm not sure if Colorado can bounce back now that they're down 3-1. Dallas is just playing some great hockey. Ottinger's playing really well. As I said last game, the whole world was on Colorado. Those two guys don't play for Colorado, and you get that kind of result. For Colorado, they can't sit back. Bottom line, they got to try to regroup. They've only scored 2 goals in those 2 games in Denver, which that's something in itself. And I talked about it on Monday. The power play 0-8. And what makes matters worse is that they allow 2 shorthanded goals as well. Bottom line, Dallas has just been the better team. They're the better team. Can that turn around? It can. I'm not sure if it does, really. And the reason why? DeBoer has just out-coached Bednar like crazy. You would think he was coaching against Mickey Mouse. Really. I cannot believe it. Because when this series started, I'd say these guys I might give the slight edge to DeBoer. But, they're pretty top-notch coaches. You wouldn't even think that Bednar knows what he's even doing. Like these first 4 games. I'm just shocked at the way this team's came out. And I won't, I'm just going to mention, he never had that team ready after all that bad stuff. That's what a coach does. You have to take all that bad, that human stuff, and you got to get your team ready. You think Brindamar would have had his team ready if that whole situation happened to Carolina? Yeah, they would have been way better than coming out going down 1-0. It was like 18 shots to 2. And so again, coaching this time of year in the playoffs is huge. Goaltending, coaching, huge stuff. The total here is 6.5. Again, the 2 games in Dallas did go over the total of 6.5. But I guess it depends on how you feel. Do you think Colorado's going to regroup? And if they do, they got to score. We talked about it Monday, or you mentioned it as well, Andrew. Colorado's not going to win 2-1, I don't think. Not at all. They're going to have to win 4-3 or 5-3 or something like that. So if you like Colorado, you think that they're going to put on a game tonight, you might like the over. But if you like Dallas and you think Ottinger shuts them down again, you might play the under. And for both those reasons there, I'm going to pass on that total. But I couldn't see some goals early in this one because, Colorado has to come out right from the beginning. They have to come out right from the beginning of this one. And that also gives Dallas a chance to counterattack as well. if you do like Colorado, do you you're getting a good number as well on their total goals? Team totals 2.5. It is it's juiced at minus 145, but there was always 3.5. So you didn't see a 2.5 for Colorado. So you might, that might be a play. The first period over could be a play. If you think Colorado is going to actually show up first period, they haven't won one first period. Dallas has kind of dominated in that. That has to be on the minds of Colorado. Really, really tough one tonight. And of all those plays, I kind of do think Colorado will score some goals. I don't know if they can win scoring 3 goals, but I like that play over the 2.5 team total.
All right, over on the team total. Buster, you couldn't be more right about what you said about the Avalanche and the slow starts they've had. Of course, you were on the show with me the last time these teams played, and I tried to catch a falling knife, and that falling knife was playing Colorado in the first period, and that didn't really work out too well for me. A late goal from Dallas. They've now outscored the Colorado Avalanche 6-0 in the first period in this series. Colorado has yet to score a single goal in the first period here in this series. And, let's just call it for what it is. I respect that you were tough on Bednar, Buster, but it's really tough to miss Nichushkin and Taves. It really is. I mean, I think that Taves is probably one of the most underrated defensemen in the whole league. And the reason being is because he plays next to Cale Makar. So how can anybody give this guy any praise when, the guy next to him is the best defenseman on the planet? You take away Cale Makar's defensive partner, it doesn't look very good. And the guy that replaced him, I think he got 2 penalties and he was a -2 or 3 in the game. Yeah. That's nothing good either, and you could really tell how much different things were for Makar not having his old D partner with him. And look, I wish all the best for Valerie Nichushkin. Hope he finds peace and things can get fixed and sorted out. But if you saw some of the quotes from the Avalanche players, they weren't all like this, but some of them were almost just like, it was kind of like the nice quotes were from last year because the same thing happened last year. And this time the quotes were, he made his decisions and now we have to play without him. It's almost like they're so disappointed with what happened, because he was in the players assistance program and this was stage 3. So from what I heard and what I saw, I don't know this is 100% confirmed, but it sounds like he probably had a positive drug test for something. And he's been suspended without pay for 6 months. One of the best playoff performers on this team. Mikko Rantanen hasn't had a good playoffs, that's for sure, or a good series at least. Last round he played well, but not that many goals, a ton of assists. McKinnon has been getting swallowed up. He hasn't been playing very well himself either. Not a ton of space out there. And then you look at the secondary guys, and I appreciate what McKinnon said post-game. He called himself out and the top players in the team, Buster. He said, our depth has been great this whole series. Our second and third line, fourth liners have been great. It's been the top line guys that haven't gotten the job done. But you want to talk about depth. That's the key for this Dallas Stars team. It's unbelievable what they're doing. Wyatt Johnston, this guy is a future superstar. I mean, we just kept on mentioning him against Vegas. Then he carried that into the series against Colorado, scoring 2 goals in the previous game, a goal before that. He's having himself a hell of a series. Tyler Seguin performing well, Matt Duchene. And the thing is, they're doing all of this without Robertson and Hintz and those guys even playing very well. So the question we ask ourselves, Buster, is, do we come on here and do we say Colorado? Because guess what? You talk about everybody who was on Colorado 2 nights ago. I think a lot of people were on the Panthers last night to close things out, and they didn't. The Boston Bruins, they got a good performance. Swayman steals the show, and the Bruins stay alive. But the only problem is that I don't think they have a goaltender that can steal them a game. As you were just talking about there with the team totals, I think that they have to score goals in order for this series to stay alive. So we saw the last game end 5-1. 34 shots to 25 in favor of Dallas. We saw each team get 2 power play opportunities, a ton of block shots, but with the shot count we're seeing, with the amount of chances we're seeing, with this going under by a half goal, but Colorado only scored 1 goal, I'm going to go out swinging with the over here, Buster. I don't know if I have it in me yet to play Colorado, but I'm going to go out swinging here. Onger has been great. Don't get me wrong. But for all of you guys in the comments section, they're laughing at us when we say a goalie's playing well, but then we bet an over. Look, Igor Shesterkin is playing really well. There's been overs in that series, right? Look at the scoreline in the game that Colorado won versus Jake Ottinger in this series. That game went over. So overall, Buster, for me, looking at this game, whether it's a victory for Colorado and they stay alive or whether they come out flat again, I think both teams come out swinging. So I'm going to go on the over 6.5 here. And they have had a game to adjust without Nichushkin. They've had a game to adjust without Taves. The only issue is now you're not at home anymore. You're on the road. You don't get the matchups of your choice. But I think this is going to be pure chaos. Would not shock me to see the first period go over 1.5. But overall, I'll stick with the full game over. Yesterday, Buster, it seemed like every Edmonton game was going to go over. And then somehow we saw a defensive masterclass. They protected the new goaltender they had in there. And then that game goes under. So anybody's team total, full game over, that gets screwed. But do you agree with me, though, that with this Colorado team, and it's nothing really against Georgiev, it's more so just that I don't think this team has it in them to win a low-scoring game. Would you agree?
Yeah, we talked about that on Monday. I totally agree with that, Andrew. And you were saying about you can't get there on Colorado. And the reason is for me as well, is because just what you said about those comments about Nichushkin. There are obviously guys in that room that are pissed off at what he did. Because he, I guess whatever happened to get him into this program back again for the stage 3. But I've been a long time on this planet, and we all have a lot of friends that we love, or people in our family, people that we know that have these kind of problems. And it's not easy for them, right? So, and that's what makes it so tough for these players. So if you've got a mixed group of guys, one guy's that are very hurt by the situation because they're so worried about their close friend and teammate. And then you got other guys saying, you know what? He had all his chances. He knows better. He ruined our season, blah, blah, and have that attitude. I can't bet a team like that. And then to boot, you got a coach who can't get this team motivated. So can Colorado win tonight? Of course they can, because they have an excellent hockey club, even without those guys. But Taves is supposed to play tonight, from what I understand, Andrew. So that there's something there. I'm pretty sure that he's going to be all right. He flew with the team, and he supposedly was feeling better yesterday. So I'm expecting him to play. So that is going to help. But as far as you said, yeah, there's no way I can see Colorado winning 2-1. Although I was calling out Georgiev on Monday, and I tell you, I know they lost 5-1. It might have been 10-1 if it wasn't for him. I mean, he stood on his head in that first period. He played great, and that's how he has to play. And like I said on Monday, he's capable of it. It's not like he's not capable of it. He just hadn't done that. So if he plays like that again today, of course they got a chance. They're Colorado Avalanche. They got a great club. But Dallas, I just think they've been playing really, really well. And even if they do win tonight, it's going to be tough to win 3 straight. Even though Dallas beat Colorado 3 straight, it's going to be very tough for Colorado to beat Dallas 3 straight, especially when the way they've been playing defense-wise and just their system. It'll be tough. It can be done. Like you say, Boston won last night when everybody thought. And we'll go back to this about Dallas. You say that it's up to 150. Well, there's 85% of the money's on Dallas. So, as I said the other day, maybe we should have ran from Colorado on Monday. You might want to run from Dallas tonight.
Maybe tonight's the night. Colorado gets it going. And I wanted to mention as well, I agree with you about DeBoer. I was listening to a podcast that was talking about how pretty much the Dallas Stars almost have 3 defensemen, Buster, in this series. They are doing their best to limit the rush chances for at the Avalanche. A lot of their goals come off the rush. They're not really as much of a 5-on-5 team. They love scoring off the rush. They counterattack. They get on the rush. They have a 2-on-1, 3-on-2. A defenseman jumps up into the rush. But Pete DeBoer, a great coach, as you mentioned. He's got a great track record with multiple teams in his career. And he's done a good job of solving this Avalanche team. Let's jump into some props here. And before we do, I kind of want to propose this question to people in the comment section and the live chat right now, because I've been having this chat with some of my buddies back home. If you guys are betting on Nathan MacKinnon, of course, obviously the perennial goal scorer for the Colorado Avalanche, comment below whether you would take his shots on goal to the over or over 1.5 points. What do you guys think is the best bet for Nathan MacKinnon? His number is 4.5 for his shots on goal. It's a lot. But the 1.5 points, I mean, you can get 2 assists. You can get a goal and an assist and still only have 2 shots. So let me know what you guys think. But I find the prop market very interesting on this game, Buster. Do you have any props for us? And what's your take? Would you rather, if you had a choice, a free bet tonight, take over 1.5 points for MacKinnon or over 4.5 shots?
Geez, that's a tough one, Andrew. That's a tough one. I'd have to think probably over the 4.5 shots, only because, as you say, he's called himself out. So he's going to fire everything at the net. Whether Colorado even can score 2 goals, I think they can. But again, he's got to get those points too, right? So that might be tough for him. I actually was kind of diving deep into these. Like I know, I think you talked about MacKinnon scoring a goal, which was like almost a pick'em last game. There's a prop, but I went a little deep on a couple of guys here. To get a point, you can play Tyler Seguin to get a point. It's at a pick. He has had points in 8 of his last 9 games against Colorado. So obviously somewhere along the line, he gets himself a good matchup there. And he is on the number 2 power play. So that always helps to pick up a point. So there's one at a good price and is on a pretty good run. And then, of course, I had to take one from Colorado. And we're going to go with Jonathan Drouin to get a point. Now, he just came back last game. He has had a point in his last 4 games against Dallas. So, again, he must be getting some favorable matchups for himself. And if you ask me, Drouin was probably the best Colorado Avalanche on the ice, just coming back. And maybe all that rest. And I think he's going to have a great game tonight. And again, he is now back on the number 1 power play. So if you're on the number 1 power play, got to believe Colorado's going to get 2 or 3 power plays tonight. Maybe they can actually break that 0 for 8 run there. So those are a couple guys I looked at, Andrew.
Buster, you know what? We've got a lot of the same thoughts here today because I like that Jonathan Drouin point quite a bit. You could even get a little fancier and take him to get an assist at a plus price because he doesn't score as many goals, but he's a great passer. But I really do like that one. So that was great seeing you on that one as well. And it's funny. The other one I was going to mention was Tyler Seguin, but it was a shot prop. That for some reason they're not really changing his odds anymore. Like they changed it before. He started at plus 130 back in the series against Vegas. I was betting him over. Now he's minus 120. But here's the thing. They've changed the odds, but they haven't changed the number. And they're not going to change the number probably. 8 of his last 10 games, he's gone over 2.5 shots on goal, and his number is minus 120. That's about the ballpark we're looking for. We don't want to go too much higher over that unless we're getting a really, really strong trend or a strong matchup. So Seguin, shots over. Jonathan Drouin, assists. I really do like that one. And I was mentioning to you guys about the fact that, MacKinnon points versus MacKinnon assists. I think the best thing to look at would probably be MacKinnon power play point, Buster. Let's put it this way. If you told me the Avalanche scored 3 goals tonight, I'd probably tell you one of those was at least a power play goal, at least one of them. And his number is minus 120 to get a power play point. You know, compared to his over 1.5 juiced to the over on points. His number just to get over 1.5 points is a heavily juiced number. You take a look at it, it's minus 130, 135 at some spots. We're getting minus 120 just for him to get a single point on the power play. And the last one I would look at would actually be a former Canadian, Buster, Montreal Canadian, who's actually been doing really well, Arturi Lehkonen. His number is minus 115. He had a great series in round 1. Kind of slowed down a bit in this series, but as we talk about, when kind of one guy goes down, the other guys need to pick it up. And with no Nichushkin, that means even more offense for a guy like Lehkonen. The best part about a player like Lehkonen when you bet shots on goal props, you know as a Habs fan of watching him, Buster, the guy's not particular. He's not picky. He'll just shoot the puck from anywhere. He's one of those guys that will get the puck on net for you. And as a prop bettor, that's what you like. Sometimes he's not even shooting to score. He's shooting to freeze the play. And that makes things that much better. So Drouin, Lehkonen, Tyler Seguin, I think that of course, Wyatt Johnston has been just unbelievable. It's certainly worth looking at it, but at the same time now his number has gone so far up. If you're going to bet him, you might have a tough time betting on him as far as his assist number. We've got Andy commenting here on shorts saying McKinnon looks defeated. Jim Lloyd saying Seguin shots on goal has been hitting consistently. And Andy says, I'd rather take Wyatt power play point plus 375. Drouin power play point is 325. Thank you to Jim and Andy for joining us here on the shorts comment section. And Makar does look defeated, Buster, but I'd imagine he's pretty frustrated. He's having himself a tough time. He hasn't gotten a point, I think, in all but one game this series. So what are your thoughts on those comments there? And do you like the power play point props? I know you don't like getting too complicated with the props, but do you see where I'm coming from with getting the better price there on McKinnon?
Oh, for sure. And no, you're right. I usually just play the point props and shot on goal props, but those power play point, that Drouin for a power play point, that entices me a bit. That seems like that might be a good one for tonight. Like I say, I expect Colorado to get about at least 2 or 3 power plays tonight. So, and hopefully can break that 0-for-8 drought, especially if we have a bunch of people in the chat and ourselves betting that play. As far, why John? Well, what can you say about him? He's been playing great, and and they kept talking about how he was turning 21. So after last night's game on Monday night, he could go out for a beer legally, I guess. So I don't know if he drank, but he probably should have went out and had a celebration if he had a few pops somewhere. So. As far as those, I'm with you too on Lehkonen. I played him last game myself for a point. He hits the post. He always has some good opportunities. So he'll be somebody I'll be probably playing tonight again because I'm kind of like a dog in a bone when I lose a game like that. Nothing worse when you're playing props, and I know you and Andy agree with this because I know you guys back-to-back them a lot. When you play a guy in a prop and then don't play him the next game and he gets 2 or 3 points, and you're like,
every time.
Yeah.
Every time. It's clockwork. It's clockwork. That's the thing about baseball too, like betting baseball players. Like I don't do too many baseball player props, but it's 162 games, right? So if you bet a guy one game and then you don't bet him the next 3, and he's gonna go, you already know what's gonna happen. He's gonna go out there and have an absolute stinker when you bet him, and the next 3 games he'll go out and have 2 or 3 bases. It's just how it goes. That's for sure here. But current price is minus 1,200 on the Dallas Stars to win the series. I'm seeing plus 750 for the Avalanche. Minus 1.5 games, minus 425. Plus 1.5 games is plus 340. Correct score, Dallas 4-2 plus 340. Dallas 4-3 plus 650. Colorado 4-3 plus 750. This one's interesting here, but I mean, at this point, should someone just be taking Colorado on the money line every game if they really believe in them to bounce back at this point? What do you think? And as far as future odds, we'll take it to the next level here before I throw it to you. Future odds right now to win the Stanley Cup. I'm seeing Dallas plus 240, Panthers plus 260, Rangers 5-1, Oilers 5-1, Canes 10-1, Canucks 18-1, Bruins 28, and Colorado at 40-1. As far as Conn Smythe trophies are concerned, I was doing some research, Buster. It seems to me like every 3 or 4 years is when a goaltender wins the Conn Smythe. It's like an exact pattern almost. Like every 3 to 4 years, a goalie is the MVP in the playoffs for their team. Look at this example here. We've got Jake Ottinger and Igor Shesterkin are the top 2 teams right now, our top 2 players leading the way for the Conn Smythe trophy. And then, of course, all the way down the list, you have Jeremy Swayman. Wyatt Johnston and Miro Heiskanen are right below Jake Ottinger. Didn't really think I'd see Miro Heiskanen, but I guess he's playing pretty well too. But any future recommendations for people out there? I know I'm just throwing this at you here, but is there anything that you would recommend to people right now, or Avalanche that people just keep on betting them on the money line? Any last recommendations before we close things out?
Well, Andrew, yeah, if you do like Colorado and you think that they could come back, at least this game they win, and then the next game for sure. I'm not sure if I'd do that money line in that last game. I'd probably sit back and watch it because it'll be a game 7 in Dallas. But yeah, if you think they can win tonight, money line, they're getting a good price. You'll never see a price like this on Colorado. And what we've seen of late, who knows? Colorado, again, like you said, there's been a lot of close games. Even last night, Vancouver almost had that to overtime again. That series is way tougher than most thought. So again, but it's funny. I was going to mention this to you on Monday, Monday when we talked. I was kind of shocked how the Oilers were always the favorite when they showed the Stanley Cup futures for the longest time. Obviously not now. But that just shocked me because to me, it was whoever wins this Dallas before it started, whoever won that Dallas-Colorado series, they're going to the Cup, regardless. That's the way I felt about it, and I still do. So, but now it seems like those futures are in at least a right line anyways. I don't know if you want to Carolina, now that it's 3-2 at 10-1. They're a team I've loved. They're the team I was touting all along. If they're 10-1, I firmly believe that they win on tomorrow and they go that game 7. So that could be a team because they say we talked about that on Monday how there hasn't been a team since 2014 that came back from that kind of deficit. So if anybody could do it, that team, like I say, they've outplayed them every game, all kinds of statistics. But the Rangers are a very good team. So, again, it's tough to beat a team so many games in a row. It's going to be tough for Colorado. But out of all those ones, you might want to throw, as Carmine would say, a little pizza money on Carolina at 10-1.
I like that one a lot. And, Buster, I currently have the major big price of plus 120 on the Hurricanes to win this series. I got in one game into the series, so I maybe should have waited a little bit to get a better price. But at this point, I'm pot committed. I'm just riding it out, plus 120 on this Hurricanes team to win the series. But I'm with you. I think they will win at home, and then anything can happen in a game 7. All right, Buster, we'll close things out here in a few moments. But what do you have going these days for clients? What do you have going tonight? As you mentioned, you probably will have some plays on tomorrow's game. What's new in your world?
Yeah, tonight we're going to have MLB NHL 2-pack up. Again, as I mentioned, the CFL, it's right around the corner, starts on June 6th. We're the number 1 lifetime at WagerTalk, plus 138 units in CFL. You can go over to my homepage at WagerTalk.com and grab our CFL package for this season. I believe you'll be glad you did. And as always, I forgot to wish everybody best luck last time, because the whole format's different for me. I'm used to having Brother Carmine here, and I'm kind of all set up right. So best of luck tonight. I know there's only one game, but there's a lot of Major League Baseball. I know the guys in the chat like to bet. So best of luck in all your plays tonight, and have a great day, guys and gals.
Hey, Buster, great doing 2 shows with you this week, and we'll see if it's a different result this time around. Will it be the same thing, or will it be a different result tonight, Colorado and Dallas? But yeah, Buster dominates the CFL, guys, so make sure you check out that special as well. I love the CFL as well. And I do have a special going on with the CFL and NHL playoffs right now, so you guys can grab that over at WagerTalk.com. But today I wanted to mention a 7-day deal I have going. It is a Score 7. That is the promo code. Score 7 will get you the next 7 days for less than $10 a day. Get you a great deal here. Get you $69 for a 1-week pass. That's Score 7 at my homepage. Coming off a 7-1 night last night. It was a great night for me. A good MLB night, a 3-0 NHL night. Mind you, the NHL plays were only 1% plays, but we went 3-0, and that's what I have going tonight. There's just one game, guys. Dallas, Colorado. I'm gonna have a package up for $19. You can get every single bet, player, prop, side total I release on tonight's big game, Dallas and Colorado. Again, guys, 7-1 night last night. Even cashed a winner in the WNBA. That's how much we were really broadening our portfolio there yesterday with all kinds of sports in action. So thanks so much for being here with us, guys. Comment the props you're betting tonight. I want to know what you're on for this Dallas and Colorado game. But thanks to Buster for being here with me. Thanks to all of you guys for watching. We'll see you next time right here on Puck Time.